family, how you doing? Welcome to Vision for Change. We are doing part two with Miss Derrica. That's right.
Part
giving the piece-
two.
Part two on Black and Missing. And so we want you to share this out, talk to other folks about it. We had a great show last week, so we're about to kick in part two. You might not hear the intro and all that good stuff, but Mel is going to give us cues, and we're doing our thing.
I'm Derrica Wilson, co-founder of Black and Missing Foundation, and you are listening to Vision for Change with John Stevenson.
Praise the Lord. Welcome, family. Welcome to another Vision for Change show. I am your host, John Stevenson, and it is my honor and my pleasure to be able to come and serve you today in this manner. Well, today we're doing a part two of what we talked about last week. We had Miss Derrica Wilson. She's here with us again. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome back to Vision for Change, and she's the president of the Black and Missing Foundation, and we just got into some great things last week, and so we are now engaged in a part two. And what I want to do is I'm going to read you just right now the scriptures from Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 11. This is the Amplified version. It says, "For they have treated the brokenness of the daughter of my people superficially, saying, 'Peace, peace,' when there is no peace." The Message Bible says, "My dear daughter, my people, broken, shattered, and yet they put on band-aids saying, 'It's not so bad. You'll be just fine.' But things are not just fine." And this is my favorite version. This is the Good News Bible of Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 11. It says, "They act as if my people's wounds were only scratches. All is well," they say, when all is not well. And I share these again, as I stated last week, not to give you a dark sense of something, because we always have hope in Jesus, but there are some things that we can pray and we can ask God to do, and He will do supernaturally and miraculously, but you are the miracle, and there's things that we need to get involved with in our community socially so we can make a difference, and I believe God works through our hands. So today we're going to talk about the Black and Missing in our country, and we're going to talk about what we can do and how we can help. All right, Ms. Derrica?
That sounds good. Thank you.
So, in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to give you this segment that's sponsored by my man, Dwayne Harris, DJ Soul 73 on Facebook, DJ Soul 73 on Twitter, DJ Soul 73 on Instagram. Just remember, DJ Soul 73. Here's our DJ Soul mix. All right, that's my man, DJ Soul 73. Go look him up. DJSoul73 at gmail.com is his email address. You can contact him for your parties, whatever you got going on in your church. No matter what you got going on, DJ Soul is the man. Well, we're going to continue in the conversation we had last week with Miss Derrica Wilson. She is the co-founder and the president of Black and Missing Foundation Incorporated. And welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me, John. I really appreciate it.
It's an honor to have you here. And we got into some things last week. And here's what I said. I told her off air. I said, I'm supposed to interview her, and I'm sitting there going, "Gee, really? Oh my God, oh my God." So it's amazing to hear some of the stuff that's going on in our community. So I introduce to you again, family. Welcome back to Vision for Change, Ms. Derrica Wilson.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Derrica, just as a brief review, just give us about who you are and how you got involved with this and all that good stuff.
Well, I started my career in law enforcement, and I served with the City of Falls Church Police Department for 8 years, and I was 2 years prior to that in Arlington with the Arlington County Sheriffs. But with Falls Church, I was the first and only Black female police officer in the history of the agency.
Wow, we got some history here with us.
There's some history there, and I accepted this. I gracefully accepted this assignment from God. Because I understand and I recognize that all of us have a purpose on this earth. not everyone is fortunate to understand what it is that they're supposed to do. So I accept this, and I'm just hitting the ground running, my sister-in-law and I, to find our missing.
That's good, and I'm glad that you're doing this because there are some things that we don't know as a community. We see folks that are missing. If years ago was the Sandra Levy,
The Casey Anthony, you have the Natalie Holloway, the list goes on and on. But people don't know about like the Unique Harris, the Pamela Butler, the Relisha Rudd, just to name a few.
And see, and the Relisha Rudd became very popular here in Washington D.C. because just of how it took place. But that's the only name we know as far as African Americans that are missing until recently. We saw that Where Are Our Girls, Bring Our Girls Home, and now we're made aware that, okay, they're taking African American girls into God knows what.
But I think also that we don't want our community to think that this is something that's just affecting the girls. Our boys are going missing at an alarming number. In fact, early on in our organization, when we first started back in 2008, there were more missing black boys and men than there were black girls and women. And so we don't want people to think that it's only gender specific. I really think that people need to know that this is something that's affecting our community on all levels.
You know, I talked about this last week. I was first made aware of this by watching an Oprah Winfrey episode when Sandra Levy was missing. And she had several mothers that were on the show that were crying, they were upset they wasn't getting any help from the news outlets. And so your organization is helping to put this out here so that we know what's going on.
We're bridging the gap. We are working and partnering with law enforcement, we're working and partnering with the media, and we're helping to, you know, just be that voice for the families on both aspects. My background, law enforcement, and Natalie's background is in public relations. So we are making sure that we bridge that gap for them. And I know when we were speaking earlier about Relisha Rudd, that is, I think everyone looks at that case and can connect. That is a very emotional case for me. I mean, I look at this child as she's my daughter, and what's so sad about this case, number one, she's still missing. You know, number two, I think a lot of people have wrote her off, including her family, but I honestly believe that she's still alive. I think that she is out of the metropolitan area. I think that she's in another state. And remember initially when the Amber Alert went off, they had other states in play, such as Virginia, Florida, Atlanta. I really think people need to look at those other states, but I also think they need to look outside the box. Just because this is a little girl that went missing does not mean that someone did not alter her appearance. She can walk around looking like a little boy with a haircut, dressed like a little boy. So what we are challenging our community to do is look into the eyes of every child they come in contact with. And if they see something, say something. Because I've been doing this a long time, and I really, in my heart of hearts, feel that Relisha is still amongst the living.
You know, I think even if you're in a supermarket or a department store, as you said, look into the eyes of the children. We don't even pay attention to that kind of thing because it's not at the forefront of our thinking that the child that somebody has could be kidnapped or sold to that person.
Absolutely, but you know, we do challenge people just to be vigilant. You know, everyone is not going to jump up and down and scream, you know, I've been abducted, but look at the person that they're with. Look at how submissive someone may be if they're under the command of someone else. You know, if you're in the airport, and I'm not saying that this is I guess basically an issue that everyone needs to be alarmed about, but if you're in an airport and you see a 60-year-old man with a 14-year-old girl and they're of different race, I mean, you would want to question, like, is that normal? Is there something going on? Could this be someone that's missing? You know, you need to ask yourself those questions because look at the mannerism. Look at how the child is responsive to this person. Look at how this person is treating this child. I mean, I need people to be very aware of what's going on at all times around them.
Mhm. You know, I'm wondering what would you recommend that we do if I see that in the airport or a bus station? Should I approach them or call someone?
Absolutely not. Do not approach them. I mean, with technology now, you can take pictures. You contact the authorities and say, okay, something isn't right here. You are a taxpayer, so you're already paying law enforcement salary with your tax dollars, but encourage them to do what it is they're supposed to do. Social media has been very vital. I'm always receiving tips. I'm always receiving Facebook postings, videos of things that look out of the ordinary.
Okay.
And we share everything with law enforcement so they can follow up on these tips.
Okay, we gave some numbers at the end of last broadcast, and it's in the millions of reported African Americans that are reported missing that we don't even hear about. You said.
And this is since our inception. So we started since our inception in 2008. More than 2 million people of color have been reported missing in the United States. And that is the key, reported, because there are so many cases that come to our attention and law enforcement simply isn't taking the police report. They're telling families your loved one will return once the drugs wear off, or your loved one is caught up in prostitution, like they were telling the families in the Anthony Sowell case in Cleveland, Ohio, when in fact 11 women who went missing were found buried in and around his property. So we need people to understand that our lives are valuable as well. And that leads me to my next thought in relationship to how it all works together, law enforcement, the media, and the community. We went on The View a few years ago, and there was a young girl who was missing for 5.5 months, and her mother had given up on hope, finding her daughter alive. And we were able to get her on The View. Whoopi Goldberg had heard about our organization and brought us on. After that segment aired, 15 minutes later, I received a tip that led law enforcement to this young girl who had been missing for 5.5 months, and she is reunited with her mom and dad.
I love it. Just a simple tip. That's why we have to get this out to more people, and we encourage people, especially the social media, share this stuff out. And I think even your website, and we'll say this throughout. Give your website. We'll say it again several times before the show. What's your website so people even who are watching now and listening can write it down? It's
www.bamfi.org. That's B as in boy, A as in Adam, M as in Michael, F as in Frank, I as in ice cream.org.
Okay. Now let's talk about, we talked about some of the self-defense classes you have, because if we not only educate our community, not only educate the adults, how can we educate these children? I've preached this to my children since they first got cell phones. Listen, this is not a toy. Be careful. Don't make friends with everybody on social media. We even block some of that stuff. I know, and we talked about that last segment. But what are some other things that they can do naturally to help protect themselves from being snatched?
So awareness is definitely the key. And what we are doing, we're arming our children with the skills, knowledge, and techniques to fight against anyone that tries to cause harm to them by grabbing them while they're glued into these electronic devices in their hands as they're walking to school. So we launched our self-defense class last month with the church, Liberty Christian Church, to arm these kids with these techniques. And this is something that we're going to be doing on a monthly basis, where we're bringing in a certified trainer to teach kids the techniques to fight off anyone that tries to bring harm to them by grabbing them. We want to get into their muscle memory. If you teach them these techniques, they can use them in the event of an emergency. And so we're going to be doing this on a monthly basis. This is free for the community because we really want to make sure that our children are protected They're our gems. They're our babies.
Right, right. And we were talking about children, but it's been adults, it's been boys. We haven't said anything about men being snatched. I'm sure men are snatched too. We talk about millions of people missing. It's not just kids, you know.
And they're not just falling off the face of the earth. Recently I saw this movie called Get Out, and that movie brought everything that we're dealing with to the forefront for me, as far as, I think people need to see, what's going on and why people are going missing. Some of them are going missing because of human trafficking. Some of them are going missing because even in that movie, identifying the organ harvesting, we have the mental health, that's an issue. And let me just speak on the mental health really quick. In our community, if someone has mental health issues, we kind of chalk it up and say, oh, so-and-so is just crazy. We're in denial. We don't want to talk about it. And so we've had a lot of people to go missing as a result of mental health issues. Listen, I understand that prayer works, but we can't just pray everything away.
Right.
We need to pray. We need to get the professional help for our community, for our elders, for our young adults that are suffering from whatever mental conditions that they're suffering from. We need to just be aware and not just lean just solely on that strength. We have to lean on that strength, but that can't be just the sole answer for that.
You're absolutely right. And I've been in churches where someone, it's funny how our community sometimes will go, oh, there's a devil, and we're rebuking the devil. And I say, okay, yeah, do that. But remember, you have authority, so you're not fighting devils. Jesus never fought a devil. Let me just put that out there for all my believers. He never fought. He spoke to the devils, and the devils left. He gave you the same authority. You can speak to devils, and devils leave. And now you're dealing with the individual. Now I got to deal with the soul part of this person, and they might have mental challenges. They might have something chemically wrong, and now that needs to be treated.
Absolutely. And we also encourage our faith-based communities to really get involved. They are the pillar in our community. And so, bringing about awareness to issues that are really affecting our community, as they say, sow a seed. Let's sow a seed in our community and help them deal with these issues that no one else is helping them with.
Okay, you have something going on, 5K.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Our Hope Without Boundaries 5K is on June the 3rd. This is our 5th annual Hope Without Boundaries at the National Harbor. And this is a fundraising effort that we created 5 years ago to bring awareness to the missing, but also raise funds for these families. These families need us. They have nowhere to turn. And so the proceeds that are raised from that 5K, 100% of the proceeds go back to the families. Natalie and I, we work full-time jobs every single day and have our families, but Black and Missing is a full-time, and this is dear to our heart. So the money that we raise for that, it helps them with flyers, it helps them with investigative services, it helps them if their loved one was located in another state and they need to be reunited with them. In the event that their loved one was found deceased, we help them with the burial expenses. We help them with shirts to bring about uniformity, like when they want to go out and distribute flyers or do searches in their respective areas. So this money goes back to them to help them.
And so people can donate.
Absolutely, they can donate. And for more information about our Hope Without Boundaries 5K Run Walk, you can visit www.hwb5k.org. That's H is in Henry, W is in Washington, B is in boy, 5k.org, and that stands for Hope Without Boundaries. We want to make sure that we're instilling hope in these families, that they should never give up. And just really one quick story. One of our first 5Ks, we had a father out there who was on the quest to search for his missing boys who had been missing for 2 years. And I told John, I said, John, we're going to find your sons. And that's exactly what we did. That following year, John was out there with his 2 boys.
I know that's right. I was going to ask you, you got a success story, because we don't want the listeners to leave saying, oh my God, it's so horrible. No, there are success stories. This is why we're doing this.
Absolutely. Since our inception in 2008, I'm proud to say that we have brought about reunions or closure to more than 200 families across this country. Unfortunately, all of them may not have been found alive, but at least the families have closure for those cases.
That's good. That's what it's about. We want to find. We're going to still pray. We're going to still release our faith and pray for this. But you can't pray for something you don't know what's going on. So this is why we're making this aware. Again, your website is?
It's www.bamfi.org. That's B as in boy, A as in Adam, M as in Michael, F as in Frank, I as in ice cream.org. And John, I really appreciate you utilizing your platform too to help bring about awareness to this issue.
Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back and we'll have some final words with Ms. Derrica, and we'll talk about. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Look at it. We're at commercial break right now. We'll be right back. Any final things you want to share?
No, I think we covered it. Is there anything you want to know? Oh, you know I don't know if you know this, but the Congress, this has gotten the
So,
attention.
if you can say personally,
Okay. Well, live on video.
personally,
I got me here.
you know, what personally made you?
Oh, that's what, you want me to do it again? I did it on the first one.
Oh, you did it in the first one.
Mhm.
Oh,
But this has sparked the attention of lawmakers, and we're now on one of the panels with the lawmakers for this.
you got it.
I want to talk about the lawmakers. I want to talk about the numbers. I want to go back to that. I'm not going to mention the mayor of DC, but I'm talking about the numbers and how the numbers are being downplayed because people want their cities if they. All right, we are back with Ms. Derrica Wilson. She is the co-founder and the CEO of Black and Missing Foundation. And Derrica, now let's go into a question I have about certain cities don't want it to look so bad. We don't have that many people missing. It's not a big problem.
This is a nationwide issue. This is not a black issue. It's not a white issue. This is an American issue. And we have our states and cities, when you're thinking about Chicago, when you're thinking about Detroit, when you're thinking about Washington, D.C., when you're thinking about Baltimore, we need to be alarmed. I mean, this is happening right here in our own backyards. And if I may add, even with human trafficking, Maryland is number 5 in the country.
Wow.
Because you have the Baltimore port, you have the 495 corridor, so it's easy in, easy out. But see, this is something that we're not communicating in our communities.
Wow. You mentioned something about Congress and something going with Congress regarding this.
Well, this right here, this epidemic that's been going on for quite some time, but the uproar in the community in light of what happened with the DC missing girls, it really garnered the attention of so many people, especially lawmakers. And so, we fully support their initiative in trying to figure out exactly what is going on, and they are putting together a panel to discuss the issues, and we've been invited to participate in that upcoming panel. So the details are being finalized, but we will be a participant in what's really going on with Black and missing in America.
And I want to put this out to our pastors that are out here listening in outreach ministries. Please have Ms. Derrica come into some of your churches to bring awareness to something that's very serious in our communities. The church is the pillar of the community.
It absolutely is, and we've had one pastor to contact us, and he says, I need to educate my congregation. So he decided to host a teaching session versus a preaching session where we had a panel and we discussed what's really affecting them. And you know what? When they left out of there, they were all empowered and inspired to make a difference, and they've hit the ground running. If it's simple as mentoring, tutoring, adopting a school to help these, because there's so many children that are coming from single family households, and you have mom or dad working 2 and 3 jobs, and so we know that there are more kids that go missing in the spring and summer, according to the FBI statistics. So if we have the churches as a pillar in our community, what are you prepared to do? Are you prepared to open up some sort of camp for the kids, some sort of safe haven? We really need our communities involved, and we would love to partner with any church and come in and educate them and see what we can do to make a difference all together, because it's not about Black and Missing Foundation. It's about all of us coming in the community, digging deep inside yourself to see what it is that you're supposed to be doing to make a difference.
And I'll put this out here, financially, sow into this, and not just sow to reap a harvest because you care. You're gonna reap a harvest no matter what you sow, but they do need money to make this thing happen. So we want you to go and donate and assist them in whatever you can. Put your hands to the plow. Come on, let's get involved with this so we can help find our babies and protect our babies from being missing.
Absolutely. And so if we can encourage everyone to register for our 5K, come out there, support the families. Our website for our 5K is www.hwb5k.org. That's H as in Harry, W as in Washington, B as in boy, 5k.org. You'll find all the information out there. You can register, you can donate. We want you to be a part of this movement to help us find us.
All right, I like that. Help us find us, okay? And again, as you said, we're not excluding any other race. Right now, we're just bringing awareness to the race that we are living in.
Yes.
The skin I'm in.
We're even in the playing field.
Yes.
Our lives are important.
Thank you, Derrica, so very much for being here again. I so appreciate your time and your love. She gave me her website. We'll put this up on our YouTube page and on our Facebook page again. Okay, well, that is our show for today. We thank you so very much for tuning in. Derrica, any last words you want to give?
No, thank you so much for utilizing your platform to continue to educate our community. It's so important, and these type of partnerships are very near and dear to us. So thank you, John.
Amen. Thank you so very much. Our website is jsmonline.org or johnstevenson.tv. We love you all so very much. And remember, all things are possible if you can just believe. See you next week. Bye-bye. That's a wrap. That was a different show.
It was.
We put that commercial in a different place. Anyway, all right, Derrica, one more time your website for the folks listening.
It's www.bamfi.org. That's BAMFI.org. I encourage each and every one of you to go to our go to our 5K page and register. Help us make a difference in our community. Help us find us. www.hwb5k.org. Thank you.
All right, folks, help us out with this. All right, we love you so very much. See you next week.
Bye-bye.